My name is Mike Marshall. I am the editor of the Press Register in Mobile, and basically I'm in charge of about 100 editors and reporters who go out and gather the news every day and report it both online and in our print paper, which comes out every morning. Basically, I spend my day trying to motivate those reporters and editors and exploring new ways to deliver our content. You know, we're in a changing industry right now, and so we do more work online. We're starting to experiment with videos, and so it's a challenging business, and every day is different. There really isn't a typical day. I may spend time talking to reporters about what projects they're working on. I actually have the coolest job on the planet. I mean, I wake up early in the morning wondering about what's on people's minds, what are the most interesting things going on in our community, and then I spend the day working with reporters and editors to put together packages that'll tell folks about those interesting things. What could be cooler than that? I don't really have a fixed schedule in terms of how many hours a week I work. I don't really distinguish between work and play. In a way, I'm always working, always thinking about what's on folks' minds, and since I love what I do, I don't even really think about it as work. There's no division between my relaxation and my working. Educational requirements, that's interesting. I actually don't have a college degree. I was attending Spring Hill College and decided to take a semester off to basically goof off. And my folks said, well, that's fine, except for you're going to have to support yourself. So looking for any minimum wage job 36 years ago. And a friend of mine said they were looking for a copy clerk down at the newspaper. So I applied, got the job, and fully intending to go back to school. And a couple of months later, a police reporter, a crime reporter, failed to show up for his night shift one too many times and was let go. And an editor looked up from his work and said, "Hey kid, you want to be a reporter?" And I said, "Sure." And so they handed me a notebook, and out I went, and never looked back, and never went back to school. The Press Register was not a good paper back then, which actually was to my benefit, because every time a position came open in the newsroom, I would put in for it, and no matter how unqualified I might have been, they would let me do that job. And so my education was all on-the-job training. But those days are gone. We are a very good paper now, a demanding paper, and a minimum requirement is a college degree. It does not have to be in journalism. We're happy for you to have a political science major would be good, English major, history major, but a journalism major is fine if that's what you got. I personally like to see a minor in some other subject if you're pursuing a journalism degree. It just shows that you're better rounded. And if you're trying to get a job with us right out of school, it's important that you have had an internship and that you have clips from that internship so that we can see samples of your work. The best part of the job is that you impact people's lives. You impact the community. We're in the business of writing about problems that the community faces. And we talk to folks about how those problems might be solved and put that in the paper. And we also have an editorial page where we suggest how we think those problems ought to be solved. So I believe that you can't have a vibrant community without a vibrant newspaper, and many of Mobile's recent successes have been as a result in part of the newspaper's good work. But that kind of gets us to the worst part of the job, because you're constantly dealing with controversy. You're talking to people who may be grieving because they just lost a loved one, and you're writing about that, or talking to someone who is in trouble of some sort, or talking to someone who's in the middle of litigation. So there are tense moments when you're dealing with human passion, and that can be tough at times. If you're interested in going into journalism, the first thing you should do is get in touch with the editor of your school paper and ask if you can write for that paper. I can't tell you how many kids have come into this newspaper looking for a job. They've freshly graduated from college, and I ask them, well, what have you written for the Crimson and White or the Plainsman or whatever the name of the paper was at your school? And they say, well, didn't really write anything for the school paper. So they've got nothing to show me that I can go by to determine whether they'd be good reporters. You know, my job is easy when it comes to hiring folks, because the proof is in the pudding. I can look at their work at either previous papers or what they did for their school paper and during their internships. And if you haven't been writing, I've got nothing to go by, and that's a very quick interview. You'd be amazed at how you can lay the foundations for a great newspaper career while you're in school by volunteering to write for the school paper and listen to what the journalism teachers tell you in terms of feedback after you turn in a story, and listen to what the newspaper editor tells you in terms of feedback, learn from that, and turn in a better story next time. And I have seen very accomplished portfolios full of excellent clips brought in by kids who have only been at school. They've never worked for a big daily, but I can tell they've got the talent, and I hire those kids right out of school. The other kids, they have to go work for a community paper, oftentimes for free, for no pay, in order to build up the clips so that they can get their foot in the door here at the Press Register. It's a huge opportunity you have while you're going to school to work for your school paper and get to go to work for a newspaper right from the get-go. Don't make the mistake of going into journalism just because you think it's going to be easier than going into pre-med or going into engineering. And think that I can write about sports. We get a lot of people coming in looking for jobs in our sports department. I can write about sports. That'll be easy breezy. I don't even have to practice doing that. I know sports. I love sports. I'm a big sports fan. If you don't make yourself write stories for other people to read about that subject, you will not be prepared to go to work out of school. You've got, it's a craft that requires rigor and discipline, just like pre-med requires rigor and discipline, and just like engineering requires rigor and discipline. Don't go into journalism or public relations because it's the path of least resistance. You won't be good at it, and you won't succeed.